Welcome to our first smart home review. Today we're going to be upgrading my second generation Nest Thermostat to a third generation for a couple reasons. Find out why after the break. The Nest Thermostat is arguably the first smart thermostat to hit the market, with the first generation launching in late 2011. Yeah, a smart home concept has been around for 7 years almost. Hard to believe. Back to the more recent generations. I bought my second generation Nest Thermostat in May 2014 and quickly grew to love it. Initially, I used it in a condo setting and found it made a huge difference in my electricity costs. When I moved into a house in late 2015, I naturally brought it with me. This is where some of my satisfaction started to disappear though. The thermostat is located on the main floor in the living room, and it doesn't catch a draft coming down the stairs, if there even is one. It came as a great piece of news when Nest announced the new temperature sensors that go with the Nest thermostats. Finally, I could put one upstairs and start addressing these temperature issues in the house. Except no, you couldn't. Do you know why? This lovely piece of new Nest technology only works with the third generation Nest thermostat. All first and second gen Nest thermostat users are SOL. Why did you do this to me, Nest? Why? Left me wanting to buy a Nest third generation thermostat. Months. I spent months debating this. Each time I considered it though, I really couldn't bring myself to spend 320 Canadian dollars before tax to buy a new thermostat to replace a fully functioning existing Nest second generation. There's more to the third generation Nest than just a temperature sensor, but my justifying reasons were the temperature sensor, and so I just couldn't bring myself to spend the money. That brings me to the present. How am I holding this third generation Nest thermostat in my hands right now? Did I really just drop $360 after tax on a replacement thermostat? No, I didn't. Instead, I spent $9. That's right, this beauty of a device cost me $9. And I think it was money well spent. The temperature sensor is going to cost me $50 plus tax, which is way more than the thermostat cost me. How, Chris? How'd you do it? How'd you spend $9 on a brand new thermostat that retails for $320? Well, let me tell you. A few weeks ago, Rona had a sale. They were listing this thermostat for $230. That's, what, $90 off retail? And then, Home Depot has a lovely little price matching policy where they'll match the price of a competitor, and then they're going to beat it by 10%. So that dropped this puppy down to $207, give or take a few cents, which after tax made it $234. So, $234 is not $9 now. My natural gas provider provides a $100 bill credit for purchasing and installing a smart thermostat. They have a list, but on it is the Nest third generation thermostat. So, I applied for the bill credit. Now we're down to a total cost of $134. Lastly, we have the deal with my second generation Nest here. These go for about $125 to $150 Canadian on Kijiji, which means that at the low end, I could sell it for $125, and then my net cost on the third gen would be $9. On the high end, I could sell it for $150, and then I'd actually be making $16 to upgrade. That's right. There is a scenario in which I would have made money by upgrading to the latest tech. Come again? Yeah, exactly. So selling this one for $125 brought my total out-of-pocket costs on the third generation to $9, although my Visa bill would paint a different picture. So let's examine some of the differences between the second generation Nest, opening the box slowly, second gen, and the third generation Nest, which we've got over here. You can see there's some very cosmetic changes to the boxes, but that's about it. And there we go. We have our second generation over here and our third generation over here. Put them side by side, they look pretty much the same on the surface. The size of the display is a bit noticeable when you look at them side by side. Individually though, you might not realize it. The thickness also is noticeable when they're side by side. I notice it more on the wall. I don't know what it is. It's not a significant thickness difference, so I'm not sure why I notice it, but I do notice the thickness difference. One thing to note is that Nest, their packaging hasn't really changed. So we're going to pull the thermostats out, put them down, an identical set of instructions on how to get started. We're going to put those back here. And then one of the things I love best, everything's right there. You've got your screws, your screwdriver, and your connection plate. One of the things I like about the new thermostat is the back plate that goes around the thermostat. And it goes like this, roughly. Oh, let's see, there we go. You can put this, it's an optional backplate around the, well, fascia plate rather, that goes around the thermostat on the wall. I choose to put it on there. It's noticeably thinner, very noticeably thinner than last generation's model. The other feature that I like about the third generation that second gen didn't have is a feature called Farsight. Because of the bigger display, Nest is able to implement this feature called Farsight. And what it does is allows you to see the temperature that you've set, not the current temperature of the room, from anywhere in the room. As long as you're moving, the display will be on. And that's a really cool feature, especially on this bigger display. It really gives the thermostat presence in the room, which is something that I felt started to be lacking with the second generation thermostat when I had it going. So let's take a look at installation. Nest thermostats are super easy to install, coming with a framing backplate, an easy to understand mounting plate, supplemented with the Nest website to determine which color wires go where, and then you just clip the thermostat onto the backplate and you're done install. It's damn easy. Once installed, you program in your Wi-Fi password using the dial around the outside of the thermostat, add it to your Nest app on your mobile device using a built-in wizard and a one-time passcode generated on the Nest thermostat, and then you're done. Once you've done it all, it should take about 15 minutes depending on the length of your Wi-Fi password, you're all set. Fire up that app and create a schedule, or better yet, let Nest do what it does best and learn your temperature preferences all by itself. Honestly, I can say I'm extremely happy with the third generation Nest thermostat. It looks sleeker, it's got a cleaner looking interface, although in fairness the interface is near identical to the existing second generation interface. With the exception of Farsight, it's pretty much the same. I hope that in the future the likes of Ecobee and Johnson Controls, the maker of the Microsoft powered thermostat that everyone raved about earlier this year because of its translucent panel of glass that everything's projected on. I hope those guys send us their offerings so that we can take a look at it, see how it compares to Nest, see if I like Ecobee or the Johnson Controls thermostat any better. Johnson Controls, by the way, I think is called the Glass. In the meantime, this review of the third generation Nest thermostat is going to have to hold you over. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for watching.